Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thompson Gymnasium on Elizabethtown College. My name is Steven, and I have my co-host Cameron here with me today for today's matchup between the Wilson Phoenix and your Elizabethtown College Blue Jays. Today is the first game of the season for both of these teams, so we'll start by letting you guys get to know Wilson College here a little bit. Wilson College, last year they were 14-12, 9-3 in conference. I got an opportunity just a couple of minutes ago to talk to head coach Brian Zoller, and he said that the focus for today is really just to get the jitters out. First game of the season, really kind of they have a lot of new parts this season, so they're trying to get all of those parts up to speed with the one returner that they have, their senior forward, Rashawn Bean. He said they're going to rely on them heavily to get some of their new parts together this season. Rashawn last year, he led their team with 16.5 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, and he was an all-conference selection as well, so that's definitely going to be a huge component for the Wilson Phoenix today. Coach Zoller did also say that they're going to focus a lot on defense. That's going to be a big key for them for this season. Try and play good defense since they don't have the high offense prolific scorers that they ddid last year. So look for the Wilson Phoenix to play some really tough defense today.
And as far as E-Town goes, last year they were 10-14, 5-9 in conference play. Not the stellar season that they're hoping for, but I'm sure that they will look to build on this new season. Coming back, they are led by seniors Ethan DuBois, Bryce Green, and Connor Moffitt. And those three guys led the team in most of their categories. DuBois first in assists and steals, Green first in points, and Moffitt first in rebounds. So those three guys will lead the team this season, and all eyes will be on them for this team. As far as their goals go, they're focused on coming together because they have 6 freshmen, 5 sophomores, which makes up a huge bulk of the team. So those 3 seniors will look to kind of build up the morale and chemistry and try to make this team together to be one thing.
Yeah, that's really going to be a key thing for E-Town this year. I really think that I had an opportunity to talk to the assistant coach prior to today's game as well, and he just said that they're not focused on other teams this season. They're focused on what they can do, and with them being as young as they are, I really feel he really felt like they're going to they're going to struggle at the beginning for a little bit, just trying to get everybody on the same page. With those seniors that you mentioned, they're really going to be a focal point for Elizabethtown to succeed this year. I think they're really going to be the backbone. And then as well, I had an opportunity to talk to junior guard Liam Thompson for Elizabethtown. Last year, Liam was out due to an unfortunate medical incident, but they're really glad to have him back this season. I talked with him today before the game today, and he said that they're really focused on just themselves, bonding as a team, growing as a team. When you lose 6 seniors like they did last year, they graduated 6 seniors. You would have to imagine that would be a huge loss to a team, any team.
Right, and as far as basketball in general, it's obviously a team sport, and for a team to work, all 5 guys on the court have to be comfortable with one another and have the chemistry and know where one another is going to be and all that. So,
right.
So to have a young team like this, it is hard, I'm sure, at first to kind of get that together and get going. But with these 3 seniors who've been here obviously all 4 years, they're going to make sure that those guys know what to do and make sure that they're a part of the system and make them feel welcome and at home here in Thompson.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's going to be a huge role. I think that's going to be a huge aspect for the team, and I look forward to seeing, here in the next 4 minutes, we will get the game started, see what we can find out about both of these 2 teams.
Yeah, very exciting.
But we'll be back with you here in the next 4 minutes for the start of the game, and stay tuned.
First, let's meet the starting lineup for Wilson. At guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Largo, Maryland, number 2, Olamide Banjo. At guard, a 6'3" junior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 3, Christian Evans. At guard, a 6'2" sophomore from Burtonsville, Maryland, number 5, Anthony DeRusso. At guard, a 6-foot sophomore from Manassas, Virginia, number 11, Jeremiah Delaney. And at forward, a 6'3" senior from San Antonio, Texas, number 15, Rashawn Bean. Head coach of the Phoenix in his 5th season is Brian Zoller. He is assisted by TJ Pulu, Brian Carroll, Matt Zeller, and Tom Moore.
Yeah, speed's going to be a factor, though, it looks like.
Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Elizabethtown Blue Jays. At guard, a 6-foot senior from Manahawkin, New Jersey, number 0, Ethan Dubois. At guard, a 6'1" junior.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for the start of the first half here. We should be an exciting one today. All right, we got through the warm-ups. Looks like we're going to have Zach Nannon for the Blue Jays tipping off here with number 3, Christian Evans for the Wilson Phoenix.
Possession starts with Wilson. Evans pump fakes, drives the baseline, stops, swings it back out to Rashawn, almost all out of bounds. Possession E-Town.
It was wonderful defense by Elizabethtown right there. Really, the bigs played well, and the drives rotated out to the outside shooters. Look for the Blue Jays to continue some scrappy defense there. Connor Moffat to inbound to Ethan Du Bois here.
Boys can floor, put some work on. Hands off to Green.
Pass to Thompson. Back to Green.
Scans, looks. Corner Du Bois drives in, stops. Oh.
Going to be a blocking foul on number 15 from Wilson College, Rashawn Bean. Blue Jays going to inbound from the baseline.
Du Bois throwing it in.
It's a foul. Inbound play to Connor Moffitt. Shoots. Fouled on the shot. Who was that
Foul
foul?
Wilson, number 2, eliminate Banjo. Connor Moffitt will shoot 2.
First one drops for Moffitt. And he gets them both. Evans brings the ball down. Swings over to Olamide.
Blue Jays starting man-to-man defense here as well.
Back with Olamide. He drives in, puts up the jump shot. It's good. It's a nice foul line jumper from Olamide.
Yeah, the defense was right there, too. That was a pretty impressive shot.
It's a contested shot, real good. Mava swings over to Du Bois. Screen from Nannon. Hard roll.
Kicks out to the 3. Thompson drives in.
Foul. There it is.
And he is fouled. He's fouled by number 15 from the Phoenix.
That's his second already.
That is not the way he wanted to start today.
No, we're not even 2 minutes in. He's already got 2.
Looks like they're going to have a sub for him coming in here after the first free throw. Thompson gets the first one to drop. Checking into the game now for the Wilson Phoenix, number 4, Jeremiah Carter Johnson. That's got to be incredibly frustrating there for Rashawn to start off less than 2 minutes.
If he gets one more, he'd be lucky to see the rest of the first half.
Strong
Rebound goes to Wilson. As Evans brings it down. Little bounce pass to Olamide. He drives in. Nice defense by E-Town.
Yeah, blocked by Liam Thomas there.
Du Bois drives in. Oh, off the backboard.
Rough, tough rebound. Two offensive rebounds. Look at that. Connor Moffitt, 2 offensive boards back to back.
And that's that leadership on the offensive boards that we're looking to see out of Moffitt.
Yeah, where he's looking to build off a pretty impressive junior year.
Jump shot by Evans, no good. Rebounded by Du Bois.
Elizabethtown's playing some wonderful defense right now, both perimeter and interior.
Absolutely. Coach here calling a play.
Green brings the ball out.
Swings over to Du Bois. He's scanning. Top of the key, Nannon. Back to Du Bois.
They're looking inside to Moffitt.
Oh, stolen. He's going to go all the way. Can Nannon catch him? Ooh, he misses the easy layup. That's got to hurt.
That's got to be frustrating. Green brings the ball up the court.
Ooh, little crossover.
Take inside.
Ooh, nice move. Too bad he couldn't get
Unfortunate
the
on
points.
the layup. Unfortunate.
Heavily contested layup there, but good from Jeremiah Delaney, excuse me.
Yeah, that was an impressive take right there. Took it strong to the defender and laid it in. So far, the Blue Jays look to be playing under control.
Absolutely.
Look to be playing impressive. The seniors who we expected to lead the team are leading the team.
Green with the jump shot, no good. Rebound by Evans, and he brings it down the court now. Swing over to Olamide.
Back to DeRusso.
Back down to Evans. Shoots it.
Strong on the jump shot, rebounded by Connor Moffitt for the Blue Jays. Moffitt bringing it up the court, past half court now.
One thing I've noticed already is we as an E-Town have a much slower tempo than Wilson does. That they're looking to run and gun and score real quick into that shot clock.
Yeah, we're looking to get some more quality possessions, I think. Top of the key with Du Bois. Du Bois drives into the lane. Unfortunately, that one off Moffitt last. That's going to be Phoenix ball.
Right idea, just too many people.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of jitters going on, too. See if they can loosen up here.
And that's expected on opening day for both teams.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Delaney now with the ball. Looks over, throws it over to Evans. Step back, puts it up. Good defense by Green, but it's in.
That's a nice shot by Christian Evans there.
His team seems to have the ability to shoot over any defender.
Yeah, it really does. It seems like they've really come together offensively here. Du Bois in the corner, kick into the post to Mannon.
Good pass, strong finish, and one.
Oh,
the
no.
wall.
They called him for a travel. That's unfortunate.
That was a nice move by Nannon.
Yes, it was. Beautiful pass by Thompson there, too. Checking into the game now for the Blue Jays. Number 15, Avery Morgan. And number 24, Tyler Reinheimer.
And Adrian Thomas for Wilson has also checked in for 15, Rashawn Bean. Ball now at Delaney. He kicks it over to Thomas. Scanning.
Moffitt playing good defense there in the post.
Nice spin from Thomas, puts it up. It's good.
That was a wonderful spin move and take there.
Wilson's making some difficult shots so far in this game.
Yeah, they are. The Blue Jays are right there defensively too. Just the shots seem to be dropping for the Phoenix today.
And that happens.
Yes,
corner green, drives in, almost stripped by Thomas. Back into Du Bois, swings over, puts it up. Three-point is good, 15, Avery Morton.
And that's his first career bucket for as a Blue Jay.
Special moment.
Yeah, let's see if he can continue on that today. Just subbing into the game and already getting his first career shot and his first career three-point make.
Feel fantastic.
Little switch on defense there. They were
Thomas
late rotating.
Is good.
They were late rotating to the ball. That's unfortunate. That was a good pick and roll. Du Bois bringing it up the court for E-Town.
And maybe that shot from Morton will give him some momentum.
Fire him up there a little bit. Yeah, let's see if they keep trying to find the hot hand here.
Du Bois drives baseline. Stops, goes back. Driving the middle now. That's a tough shot. No good. Rebound, Moffitt.
Offensive
he dribbles
rebound.
it out.
That
was a nice board.
He's been a monster on the board on the offensive glass so far for E-Town.
There's Green driving in. Lost it. Stripped by Wilson. Up the court goes Thomas. Could go all the way, and he does with a foul by Du Bois.
That was a good attempt to try and strip the ball, prevent an easy breakaway bucket there.
Yeah, smart play to have him shoot instead of have that easy layup.
Looks like we're going to have two freshmen checking into the game here momentarily after the first rebound.
Oh, it's Du Bois' second foul already. It's another one who's checking out early. Or was that his first?
That was his second.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Checking into the game now for the Blue Jays.
Number
10, Wyatt Hockenberry, and number 11, Jalen Robinson. Both of those are freshmen. Jalen's transferring here from Alvernia University. See how he starts off his first college game with the Blue Jays.
I'm sure they're both nervous being freshmen checking in their first college game.
Oh, it's got to be nerve-wracking. I can tell you just from stepping on the floor, even in the volleyball, when I stepped on my first match, it was the most nerve-wracking experience. So we'll see how they handle the jitters here today.
Look at that, already going to the hoop.
To the rack and makes the layup, Jalen Robinson.
Real quick step. Look, another quick step by number 3, Christian Evans, but that's no good. Rebound E-Town.
By Avery Morton. Jalen Robinson bringing it back up the floor here again.
And I think I played pickup with Jalen in the Bauer Center here, and he was asking about how to get involved with the basketball team. Looks like he finally did get involved, and he's doing good so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a wonderful, that was a pretty good pickup there by the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, a shot by Avery Morton off the mark. Rebound by the Phoenix. Phoenix bringing it back up the floor.
Ball now with number 2, Olamide. Swings it over to Evans. He drives in, loses it. Stolen by E-Town, throws it up. Layup. Good, that's by number 10, Wyatt Hockenberry.
Freshman that we just talked about. Looks like the jitters are gone. He gets his first career points as
Both
Blue
of them
Jay.
making nice plays.
I know. It looks like some of the freshmen are stepping up here for the Blue Jays.
And one thing that always is a hard time for some players is when you get that steal or that rebound on the defensive end to immediately look up the court, which he did immediately. Good for him. It's a good play.
Looks like there's going to be a foul here on the Blue Jays. Number 15, Avery Morton, gets called for his first foul.
Subbing in for Wilson, it's number 44, Kyle Hoffman, and he comes in for number 3, Christian Evans. Thomas with a rebound, throws it over to Hoffman. Scans the court.
Blue Jays just transferred into a 2-3 zone here. They were in man-to-man. This is an interesting move for the Blue Jays. This is the first time they've gone zone this game.
And for some teams, zones are hard to break. Let's see if they can do it. Oh, ooh.
There's going to be a charge. Player control foul on Wilson College.
That's a good play by Morton. Real good play.
Yeah, he stood his ground there and drew the foul. That was on, is that on 11? I think that was on 11. Player control foul on number 11, Jeremiah Delaney for Wilson.
Well, now Morton swings it over to Reimer. Good save by Nannon. And number 10, Wyatt Hockenberry, puts up the 3. That was a nice play right there, the save and the shot.
How about the kick out from the Blue Jays, number 25, Zach Nannon.
As 11 here for Wilson, Jeremiah Delaney gets fouled. A lot of fouls in this first half already.
His first team's third. Wilson shoots 2.
First one drops. Number 13, Drew Riley checks in for 24, Tyler Reinheimer.
Another freshman checking onto the floor for the Blue Jays. He's actually the tallest member of the Blue Jays at 6'8".
That's a big boy. Offensive rebound by Wilson. That's number 2, Olamide. Now he's fouled for 2 more shots.
And as soon as Drew checks into the game, he gets called for his first foul already. I'm sure that's not how he wanted to start today's game either.
It's 18 fouls already combined for both teams.
I know, we're only 8 minutes into the game. That's some of that pregame jitters we talked about. Keeping their composure, getting settled into the game. Definitely look for them to maybe ease off of those fouls for both teams a little bit.
I'll tell you what, both teams are hitting their shots.
And Olamide gets both of those to drop.
Wilson's pressing.
Full court press.
Up to Nannon. Oh, almost stolen. It is stolen.
Stolen by the
Throws it up to number 2, Olamide. Puts up the layup, and it's good.
Full court press worked already.
Scrappy defense from Wilson. Morton has it now. He's triple teamed. Throws it back.
Hockenberry.
Robinson has it. Back to Hockenberry. Back to Morton. Save, no. Out of bounds. Wilson ball.
Tell you what, Wilson's really got that press working for them. Timeout called by the Blue Jays already.
I can see why that press did its job. They triple team Morton over there, and he panicked, threw it back, and that steal came immediately after, or the out of bounds, excuse me.
Yeah, and that's a perfect play call by the Wilson Phoenix, because if you didn't notice there, the Blue Jays had 4 freshmen on the floor with only 1 sophomore. So try and get the young guys panicked early in their first game, get them out of sorts. They're already
said those jitters
already got the jitters, and right there, the Wilson coach called a perfect play, getting the Blue Jays a little bit out of sorts. Let's see if they can settle in here.
That was a smart timeout by Coach Moore, though, to make sure that those guys know how to break that press and maybe calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think it was more of just a calming, just, hey, guys, let's settle in, make a good pass, get the ball across half court and set up some offense. But I'll tell you what, that was a perfect play call by the Wilson coach Zoller. See if the Blue Jays can settle in here, get a stop on defense, and get some transition points here.
All right, ball Bando swings to Hoffman. Thomas looks back, throws it over to Olamide. Delaney's looking over.
Back to Hoffman.
Still in that 2-3 zone.
Good defense so far by the Blue Jays. Transition, rotating to the ball, good. Ball goes into the post. Kicks out for 3 by Delaney. And that is on the mark. 3-point by Ford.
Good rotations, though, that entire possession. Just again, a tough shot that Wilson's making.
Yeah, they seem to be the more poised team so far in this matchup. Kicks out to Hockenberry. Hockenberry throws it inside to Drew.
Down low is Nannon. There it is. Little hook. Good. That's 2 plays now that Nannon's been strong with the ball. He's went through the contact and put it up. That's good. Good skill for a big man to have.
Good box out by Drew Riley for the Blue Jays. Robinson bringing it up the court now for the Blue Jays. See if they can kick it inside to their bigs again.
Offensive rebound, Morton.
He wisely brings it out, kicks it to the top. It's going to be a travel on number 25 for the Blue Jays. That's just unfortunate.
That's his second travel call.
Huge shift change for the Blue Jays. Got Ethan DuBois, Liam Thompson, Connor Moffitt, and Bryce Green all checking back into the game for the Blue Jays.
No one for E-Town really in foul trouble, so they can sub as much as they want here to start off early.
Yeah, so far, we get our first look at the freshman for the Blue Jays. Very promising future for some of these Blue Jays.
Right, and besides that press, which that came out of nowhere, they did all right.
Yeah, I was very impressed with them so far. We got their senior and junior leaders back in the game now. Let's see if the Blue Jays can go on a little bit of a run here.
As Hoffman drives in, he kicks it back out to DeRusso. Loses it, but has it back. Stolen now by Moffitt. E-Town with some nice defense there.
Look at the big man, number 13, running the floor for the Blue Jays. See if they can look inside and get him the ball. A little bit out of control there for DuBois. A little clumsy there.
That was a nice play by Wilson.
Yeah, number 5, Anthony DeRusso makes the shot there for the Phoenix.
2-on-1 drive and dish. Moffitt on top of the key. Back to DuBois on the left wing. Down low to Riley. Stolen by number 1, Adrian Thomas. Puts it up for the easy layup.
Looks like the Blue Jays are a little bit out of sort here. Timeout called by Coach Moore.
Again, another good timeout. They look very discombobulated out there.
Yeah, it's just their passes aren't on point. They're not feeding it to the outside hand when they pass. Just some
miscommunication there.
Some miscommunication between the players.
And Wilson's been jumping on him, which is good for them as a team.
Yeah, I was going to say
capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, no shade thrown to the Wilson College here. Their defense has been scrappy. They've been up on their man. They've been up on the man they're guarding today. They're really playing good, solid defense. They look like the more composed team coming in on the road at the Blue Jays home.
And we
today.
talked before the broadcast that we thought that just by the look of the athleticism on that team, that they'd be a team that would run and gun, and that they have.
Look for the Blue Jays to start trying to, to expose the inside paint game for Wilson, because it seems like the Blue Jays are just a bigger, more physical team.
Yeah,
and
we have a much
just
stronger and bigger team.
Yeah, Wilson's just beating them with their speed. Looks like Green's trapped at the top here.
Yeah, they're playing scrappy man-to-man. They are up on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they are. They are really pressing today.
The boy's trying to give him the works. He drives in, scans, nothing there. They are look at those rotations.
They're just rotating to the ball perfectly.
Green
late
drives
in the shot clock.
Step back, 1 foot, no good. But that's the kind of shot, if you're Wilson, that you want E-Town to take.
Yes, that is a very good point. Adrian Thomas came down with the board there.
Nice pump fake there by Hoffman. Shot by number 3, Christian Evans. That's no good.
It's another rebound for Connor Moffitt, though. He's been big on the glass today for the Blue Jays.
Beast on the boards, Connor Moffitt.
Kick out to the corner for Green.
Bang.
And that's a 3 made by Bryce Green.
And that's what Bryce Green is known for on this E-Town team, knocking down those threes.
That was a big shot. That was a big shot to get the Blue Jays a point here.
And maybe that will finally get the momentum going, try to break that defense more.
Yeah, let's see if the Blue Jays can get a stop here and get some more points. There's going to be a foul on the Blue Jays. Number 5, Bryce Green. Cutter was cutting through the post there, and he grabbed a hold of him, trying to not let him get free.
Checking in for E-Town. That's 11, Jalen Robinson, and 25, Zach Nannon. Comes out is Ethan DuBois
and Drew Riley.
DeRusso now top of the key for Wilson. Calling out a play here. Swings over to Evans. He scans now. He was wide open on that, but an air ball. That is a defensive mistake by E-Town. It should never be that open.
Going to be a foul on Wilson, number 4 here. Reach in.
Jeremiah Carter Johnson. 3 first names.
Number 0, Xavier Downey.
Inbounding the ball here to Jalen Robinson, bringing it up the floor for the Blue Jays.
Hands off to Green. Swings it over to Thompson. Back to Green. Puts up the 3. No good. A little short.
He was giving himself a heat check there.
And that's understandable. That was a nice shot he had in that corner. Hoffman out the ball, swings it over to DeRusso. Almost doubled, but they decided not to.
E-Town's still in that 2-3 zone we talked about earlier.
That's a nice swing over to DeRusso, but no good. Rebound E-Town. Bright screen now, left wing, behind the back. That's a nice cross there. Heads over to Moffitt, swings to Nannon, down low, no good. Forced it a little bit.
Yeah, that was some good interior post play by the Phoenix number 4, Jeremiah Carter-Johnson.
Evans closes to Hoffman. DeRusso has it, Scannon.
Looks inside, finds Christian Evans. Kicks to the corner.
You never want to foul. That's a bad foul in that three-point play.
Never want to foul a three-point shooter. He's going to get 3 shots here. It was a foul by number 11, Jalen Robinson for the Blue Jays.
Freshman mistakes.
Yes. At the line now is Xavier Doughton for the Phoenix.
No good in the first. Checking in for E-Town here, it's number 15, Avery Morton.
He's going to be checking in after the second free throw. Second one drops.
He checks in for number 1, Liam Thompson. 11 team fouls in this first half. It's a lot of fouls.
Yes, it is.
And there's Wilson with that press again. Nannon inbound. Moffitt with the ball, looking down court. Back to Nannon. Throws it up to Morton. He drives in with the layup. No good, a little strong. Almost has to be off Nannon. That is Wilson's ball. Tough fight in the boards there for E-Town.
Yeah, E-Town's doing the right thing there. They're getting it inside the paint, trying to expose Wilson's size, but the shots just aren't falling for the Blue Jays right now. Let's see if they can get that to change.
And if you notice, there's 3 starters in right now, so that press wasn't as hard for them with the experience I was talking about.
No,
with the freshmen.
you're right. And there's a good break for the Blue Jays. Ball out of bounds going to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays also, if you notice defensively, they're switched back into the man-to-man. It looks like when they have their starters on the floor, they're going to stick to that man-to-man defense, a little bit more experience. Then when they get their second shift on, it looks like they switch into that 2-3 zone.
And that's pretty smart because for these freshmen, the pace of the game from high school to college is so much faster, so they might not be able to keep up there as number 3, Christian Evans with the steal. Foul on Morton. That's another freshman mistake. Put your hands straight up. Never go down on that shot.
Yeah, some people might say that he had all ball there, but the ref's always going to go with the side with the air of caution.
And you could have all ball, but if the ref sees your arms or wrist going down in that downward motion, it's always going to be a foul.
It's almost always going to be called. You're exactly right. Christian Evans at the line now for the Wilson Phoenix. Gets the first one to drop.
Bryce Green, who just checked out, is checking back in for Morton. It's Morton's second. Not explaining why Green's checking back in. Let's see if Evans can make the second foul shot.
And he does.
Press it again.
They're on that
Boyce
press
has it.
again.
Down the sideline, throws up to Moffitt. To the freshman Jalen Robinson, puts it up. It's good. That was a nice play there by E-Town. They broke that press to perfection.
I was going to say, and you notice that senior presence from Du Bois. He broke that press with ease. Found Connor Moffitt. That was a good find. Air ball by number 4, Jeremiah Carter-Johnson. Moffitt.
There's Robinson with the shot. A little bit to the right. Nannon with the track down on the offensive rebound. Back up to Robinson. Tries again. No good again. That's tough.
It was a tough break
and those
there.
weren't bad shots, just not falling, which that happens.
Yeah, E-Town's been a beast on the offensive glass today, though.
Absolutely.
That's going to go to the Blue Jays off the hands. Number 11, Jeremiah Delaney. Just a little miscommunication there. Took his eyes off the ball before he caught it.
It's a good D by Nannon. He was right there to body him up, though. I might have caused his hands to not really catch the ball.
Yeah, he felt that presence from the defender there. Du Bois bringing it back up the court here for the Blue Jays.
Swings over to Green. Moffitt now top of the key. Puts up the 3. A little short. Nannon tried for it but couldn't get it. That's rebounded by Christian Evans. That's a nice dish down low, but air ball on the layup. That's got to be frustrating. Robinson dives for it. No good. And DeRusso came up with it. He's got it now with the top of the key three. No good again. No one's making shots on either end.
No, there's a lid on both buckets at both ends of the court today.
And both ends have sped up their play now. E-Town's slower play as Green stumbles with the ball. They've now kind of sped up a little bit and taking a lot more three-pointers.
No, and they're going to get a charge called on Connor Moffett from the Blue Jays there.
That's a tough break.
Yeah, that was a very tough break. Lowered his shoulder, tried to create some space on the offensive bucket, and the ref saw it a little bit differently. It's a tough call. As a physical, post presence, you want to try and be as physical as you can, but there's that fine line that you got to watch and you can't cross.
Right. And that was Moffitt's only first, but he's already subbing out, and Leon Thompson's checked in.
Look at this smaller lineup the Blue Jays have just gone to. They have
I think it's the first time that no really big guy has been out of the game.
And right away Wilson exposes that. They've moved Morton to the 5.
So let's see what E-Town can do with a small lineup as Thompson drives in and kicks to Morton. 3-point shot. That looks good. It is good.
And that's the second three-pointer on the day for Avery Morton.
Oh, it was a real nice spiral on that ball. I couldn't help but notice that. Banjo has it now. He swings over to Delaney.
They're looking inside to try and use that physical post presence again.
Morton seems to be their center right now. Takes a charge out the block.
His feet were inside of the circle at the bottom there. Anytime those feet get inside the circle, it doesn't matter if it's a charge or not.
Right.
It's always going to go to the offensive player. Oh, that's a rough one too. If his feet were just about 6 inches forward, that definitely would have been going the other way. But that's going to be the third on Morton. Unfortunately, that's 3 in the first half. He's probably done for the first half today.
Yeah, and that's rough. Tell you what, though, Xavier Dalton taking a lot of free throws today. Capitalized on most of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they just keep fouling, so they're going to end up getting in these one-on-one positions here.
A little bit of a half-court press here.
Yeah, that's 10 seconds. They didn't get it across in time.
That's tough.
Checking back in for the Phoenix now, number 1, Adrian Thomas.
You don't see those calls too often. I feel like in college basketball, especially with the players they have. Like they have Du Bois out there, they have Green, they have Moffitt, and those guys should be able to break that press pretty quickly. But
yeah,
it's by Wilson.
And that was a pretty bang play too. It looked like they had just barely gotten it across, but some tough defending here by Du Bois for the Blue Jays.
That was a nice move by Jeremiah Delaney with a little hop step, but Eton comes up with the rebound. Du Bois has on the right side, crosses over to the middle. He's looking almost stolen by Christian Evans, out of bounds. E-Town ball still.
Unfortunate, Du Bois didn't see him coming around the backside there for that steal. The Blue Jays are lucky to keep that.
Oh, and look at that. Evans getting in Du Bois' face, clapping right in his ear.
I know, basically saying, I can guard you. You can't get past me.
Right,
I like the little bit of intensity there, though. But that's how the Phoenix have been today. They've been the more aggressive, more assertive team.
Absolutely.
Oh, Moffitt's got a switch in the post here. See if they can exploit that, and they missed it. That's
air ball
unfortunate.
by number 10, White Hockenberry. They should have exploited that mismatch down low.
Yeah, they had Connor Moffitt on number 11, Jeremiah Delaney, a serious mismatch.
That's going to be a foul.
And it's on the floor for a 1-and-1.
And for number 4, Jeremiah Carter Johnson, he's been taking advantage of his more burly body. He's been using that down low to get inside, and he's been drawing those foul calls.
Definitely, and as we talked about earlier, you would think that the Blue Jays would use that physicality that they have to their advantage, but with the rotations and the switching that Wilson's been doing on defense, they really haven't even had an opportunity to throw the ball into the post. That tough press defense on the perimeter, right. They don't have a second to throw it in.
And we said that since E-Town's the bigger team, that they should be looking to throw it down low, but they're like you said, they're not even getting the opportunity. That press again. Bryce Green has the ball. Back to Moffitt. He's going to cross half court. That's over to number 10, White Hockenberry. Almost loses it. Back out to Du Bois. Top of the key. Clean 3. Air ball.
Air ball. That is uncharacteristic of Du Bois. He usually is pretty clutch from that wide open top of the key. Looks like number 11, Jalen Robinson, getting ready to check back in for the Blue Jays.
Still no shots dropping for E-Town.
Neither team. Yeah, there seems to be a lid on the bucket on both ends of the court these last 10 minutes of the game.
Right. Adrian Thompson with the ball. He swings over to Carter Johnson. Back over to Delaney. He puts it up. It's good. And a foul. Let's see what that's on.
Looks like it's going the opposite direction. I'm going to wonder if
the
bucket
Adrian
counts.
Thompson. I think usually they still count it even if there's an offensive foul, as far as I know.
I guess it depends if the ball went through the basket first.
I think they're saying the shot was good. Well, that was the number
shot
one,
is
Adrian
gonna count.
Thompson.
Yeah. Shot is going to count. Robinson checking back in for Du Bois on the for the Blue Jays.
That's an interesting choice there when you see that the press is going to happen.
Yeah, I wonder what Coach Moore was thinking, because it seems like Du Bois was breaking that press a whole lot faster than. Oh, look at that!
They broke it just as quick.
And Hockenberry drives in hard.
That was a nice move. He saw that lane and he took advantage.
And he's a freshman, so that's a pretty good sign for the future for the Blue Jays.
Right.
Drives baseline, kicks it back into the paint.
Nope,
that's a
no
big
call
block.
there. Look at again.
Another big block by Drew Riley for the Blue Jays, using that 6'8" size in the post.
And like I said earlier, he did good.
Staying
not
straight
to come
up.
down, yeah, and stay straight up as the miss there on the 3 by Green. Thomas now with the ball.
There's going to be a player control foul.
And now E-Town has the momentum.
Number 4 getting his elbows wide, throwing an elbow to the face there of number 10, Wyatt Hockenberry for the Blue Jays. Refs are right on top of that. They didn't even hesitate for a second.
Into the game for Wilson, number 13, Daryl Garrett.
That's Carter Johnson's second already.
Yeah, and after that hard foul, he gets subbed out. Number 13, Daryl Garrett checking in for the Phoenix. See if the Blue Jays can take advantage of that right there. Get some points on the board here this possession. See if they can cut into this lead before the end of the half.
There's Green with the 3. A little strong. Then a fight for it. Couldn't get it. Offensive rebound. Robinson puts it up.
I'll tell you what, Nannon used his size there and took advantage of that post presence.
Freshman putting on the moves there to have that quick step in.
Nannon showing some leadership there, getting his guys settled on the defensive end. Oh, Green jumped for that ball there. Hopefully that doesn't come back to hurt them. Drew Riley with another block. He's got 3 in the first half transition points for the Blue Jays.
Chased down by Thomas, but Bryce Green with the layup.
Timeout called by the Phoenix. E-Town going on a little run.
And that was an amazing performance by E-Town in the last 45 seconds to a minute there. That was incredible.
And both those last 2 possessions for E-Town on the defensive side of the ball. Drew Riley stepping up big, 3 blocks in those last 2 possessions. As a freshman, that's got to be such a good feeling
impressive.
for him.
Looking like a Hassan Whiteside out there.
I know he's been a huge physical presence in the paint for the Blue Jays, and to, as you said earlier, stay straight up, both hands, and just contact that ball at its highest point as it's getting ready to come out of the defender's hands. He has been a physical specimen in the paint today for the defense.
And that run by E-Town just got us going. So imagine how they feel right now on the court.
I know, and you know what though? That's something that I think Robinson brings a little bit of different perspective to the Blue Jays. Du Bois a little bit more of that floor captain. Mm-hmm. Robinson's one of those go-getters, get up the paint.
Robinson is
get up the court.
Quick. He gets that first step on everybody.
And he sees the court well. He's been playing good defense. Let's look for him to continue to assert himself on the offensive and the defensive side of the game for the Blue Jays here. Blue Jays into a little bit of a half-court press.
Interesting look by E-Town. As Thomas drives baseline, and he kicks it out to Garib.
Delaney with a wide-open 3-point opportunity.
No good. Offensive rebound by 13 Garib. He puts it up. That's no good again. Let's try. No good again.
Zach Nannon with the defense.
Good box out by Nannon to make sure to get in front of that body.
Look for the Blue Jays to slow it down in this half here real quick. We're coming up on the final possession of the game. Shot clock and game clock are separated by about 2 seconds here.
No need to rush.
No, take the last shot of the game here and get a clean one. Look inside of the post even. See if they can get a clean look here.
They get a 3 or the game's tied up.
Kick out the Green.
Cross, driving in the middle, puts it up.
And one.
Block, and one by Green.
And one, and they count the bucket.
This could be that 3-point play I was talking about. If they go in to half tied, That's a big, big momentum swing for E-Town.
I think Coach Moore would have to consider that a win for the first half, considering the 18 fouls by both teams in the first half. I think anything close to a tie for the Blue Jays going into this first half is definitely considered a win for the Blue Jays in this first half.
And they've been down most of this game, so to be tied, like you said, that's a big win. Green, no short on the free throw. Last shot of the half, put up by number 2, Olamide. That's no good.
And Olamide gets called for a charge on that last possession. Liam
That's
Thompson drawing the charge.
Did they put up the 2-point layup from Green?
It does not look like they added that to the score. The score should read 34-33 in favor of the Wilson Phoenix at half. Let's see if they get this score changed and fixed here.
I hope they do. The rest are talking with the scorekeepers.
And there
it
do.
is.
They do
there
change
it is.
So at the half, your score is 33-34 in favor of the Wilson College Phoenix. What did you think about E-Town's performance there in the first half?
E-Town started off slow, which is fine, and we noticed that when they brought in that second unit of mostly freshmen, they tried to slow it down so they wouldn't. So the game isn't too fast for them to start off with, but as the first half went on, it got faster and faster. And that last run that they went on, they really capitalized and played really, really well. I'll tell you what, our freshman Jalen Robinson, he played tough and quick for E-Town. And the Drew Riley with all those blocks, they were two real big factors in that run towards the end there.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think that another aspect of the game for the Blue Jays that I really, really was impressed with was the play of all the freshmen that checked in. You know, with them being such a young group this year, seeing those freshmen check in, Avery Morton, Jalen Robinson, Wyatt Hockenberry, Drew Riley, all of them played a big role in that first half, whether it was on the offensive side of the or the defensive side of possession. But I definitely think that the Blue Jays, you know, Coach Moore is going to look for them to clean it up a little bit here in the second half, a little bit more crisp on those passes, and continue to play that tough, scrappy defense in the paint down here.
And if every program of every sport at one point or another, they go through these phases where the team, the bulk of the team is freshmen or sophomores.
The growing pains, yeah.
Right, and you see what the future will look like for your team. And based off this first half, I think E-Town's in pretty good hands. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I think the future is very bright so far for the Blue Jays, just, you know, based off of this first half of the first game of this year. But I definitely think that we're starting to see the future of E-Town men's basketball here. So look for them to continue this impressive performance today in the second half. As far as the Wilson College Phoenix go, you know, Coach Zoller has got to be impressed with his team in the first half, coming out, having a 1-point lead at the half. You know, it looks like they really jumped on E-Town quick, but towards the second end of that first half, they kind of tapered off a little bit. I think E-Town settled in and made some good adjustments on defense. And
right.
But Rashawn Bean, I mean, he was pretty much they're all-conference forward senior. He was pretty much a non-factor after those first two quick fouls 2 minutes into the game. I think that's got to be a killer for them.
Right, and I think Christian Evans has been the main point for Wilson. He's been getting it done on both ends, offense and defense. And I pointed out earlier that how he was getting in Du Bois' face, and on offense he capitalizes on those steals and he makes the shots on their end. So if he keeps that up, then they'll be in good hands.
Yeah, definitely look for Wilson to kind of continue that impressive first half that they had, but also get Rashawn Bean back into this game and see if he can make a little bit of a difference, because I think that's where most of their physicality and size comes from.
Right.
You know, him being that 6'3", 220 forward down in the paint. You know, number 4, Jeremiah Carter-Johnson, freshman, he came into the game and he played some really important minutes for Rashawn there. But I think
he used his body.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, I think both teams have a lot they can look at and say that was a really good first half, but at the same time, look for both of them to clean it up a little bit here in the second half.
Right. There's
but,
no such thing as a perfect half.
Yeah, but so here at the half, we're going to take a break from you real quick, and we'll be back with you for the second half of today's game. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back live here to the start of getting ready to start the second half. Blue Jays are down 33-34 against the Wilson College Phoenix. Moments ago, I had an opportunity to speak with assistant coach for the Blue Jays, Joe Schwalm, and I asked him what some good things were in the first half and some bad things. He said they really, really liked how they picked it up in the second part of that first half, and he was really, really impressed with the freshmen for the Blue Jays and how they were able to really make an impact on both ends of the floor, specifically Drew Riley, that 5-minute defensive possession, that 5-minute defensive stand that he had on both ends of the court. He said that their goals for the second half are to clean it up, slow it down a little bit, and really lean on those seniors. He kept saying the seniors looked a little discombobulated. He said he challenged them at halftime to really pick it up here in the second half. So look for them to pick that up, but also they just could not say enough good things about the Blue Jays freshmen. Here we go to start the second half.
Ethan Du Bois now with the ball. He throws over to Thompson.
Look inside to Bryce Green. Baseline to Connor Moffitt. Kick back out to Thompson. Back to Du Bois. Look out back outside to the three-point for Bryce Green. Three-pointer up, and it's good.
That was outstanding ball movement by E-Town. Great way to start this half.
That is exactly right. I'm sure that Coach Moore is very pleased with how they started off the first possession of the second half. Looks inside to Rashawn Bean. See if they can get him started here. Kick back outside to Adrian Thompson. Back over to Delaney. Shot by Bean off the mark. Rebound to Wilson.
Now here's my question off of that miss. Why was Du Bois, who the guard, and usually when you're the guard, your job is to get back on the other end, but he was the only one who crashed the boards for E-Town.
Yeah,
that's got to be a question.
That's got to be frustrating for Coach Moore. He needs his bigs to get on the glass a little more. That was an impressive take there by number 1 Thomas for the Wilson College Phoenix. They get their first points in the second half. Du Bois has it on the top of the key. Back up to Bryce Green.
Good cross by Green.
Kick to the corner to Moffitt. Kick inside to Zach Nannon.
Good fight by Nannon. Almost had that offensive rebound.
Bringing it up by Olamide. Kick to Thomas. Top of the key, Delaney. Looks like Elizabethtown went back into their man-to-man. They have their starters back on the court here. Kick up to Bean. Back to Thomas. Kick over to Evans in the corner. Evans driving baseline. Pump fake. Back out to Delaney. Three-pointer. And that is good. Wilson College starting that same offensive work they had in the first half. Delaney led the Phoenix in points per game in the first half. Thompson, top of the key, picks up his dribble, kick out to Green. Green, little crossover, help over by Thomas for Wilson.
He's had a couple nice crossovers this game. They're quick and smooth.
Moffitt drives baseline, kick to the corner, out of bounds off of the Phoenix.
That's a tough pass to make, that drive baseline to opposite corner when the whole paint is when they're all bunched up like that. It's a hard pass.
Yeah, and it was a really good defense rotation by the Phoenix there. Look for Du Bois to inbound the ball here. And Nannon. Nannon kicks to the other side to Bryce Green. Deep three. And that's
winding down.
Yeah, that's a shot clock violation. He missed all of the rim on that one.
And if you're Wilson, that's the type of defense you want to play. Bring down the whole shot clock and force a bad shot like that from Green. That's good D by Wilson.
You're exactly right there. Got a little timeout here real quick. Wilson College player tying a shoe before the inbound.
That's always a pain. It's like Dowden was calling it.
E-Town has gone into that 2-3 zone. They switched back into it. It looked like they had some success with that in the first half. Bryce Green with a tough defensive rebound, pushing it up the court here for the Blue Jays. And that ball was stolen.
Save. That's a nice save there by Delaney.
Christian Evans for three, wide open. That is a make.
That was good D by Wilson, forced steals, good save, and a good find out there on that right wing.
Blue Jays got to clean it up a little bit here on the offensive end. Green with some uncharacteristic laziness with the ball there. Kick to Thomas in the corner for the Blue Jays. He looks inside.
That's
Connor
a
Moffitt
good
wide
look.
open. There was a defensive breakdown somewhere there for the Phoenix because Moffitt was wide open. Nobody within 10 feet of him in both directions.
And good awareness from Thompson to see that.
Olamide kicks up top to Evans. Evans to Thomas. Back to Delaney in the corner, and that's going to be a foul by DuBois. That is just a careless foul. He has made some uncharacteristic fouls today in today's game, just some carelessness on defense. Morton and Robinson check back in here for the Blue Jays.
2 early subs.
Robinson's played some good minutes today for the Blue Jays. Look for him to continue that. And that was a really smart play by Moffitt on the inbound play there. Jalen Robinson now bringing it up the floor for the Blue Jays. Kicks over to Thompson. Looks inside to Connor Moffitt. Kick to the corner for Nannon. Nannon drives baseline, little floater up. That hit the side of the backboard, unfortunately.
Right idea for Nannon to jab step and get that baseline, just couldn't get the angle to have the floater.
Yeah, that was just a little unfortunate.
That's a defensive miscue by E-Town. Good break, though, for him, missing that easy layup.
Rebound down by Nannon. Robinson pushing it up the floor now for the Blue Jays. I don't know what that was. That was a freshman
take. That's
mistake.
a Russell Westbrook play right there. That's some hero ball from Robinson. You don't want that. And a foul. It's going to be on 15, Avery Morton.
Unfortunately. No, that is going to be on number 1, Thompson. Thompson, that's going to be his second. That's lucky break for Avery Morton there because that would have been his 4th, and that would have sat him down.
That is Thompson's second only. More foul shots for the Wilson Phoenix there.
Gets the first one. Thomas gets the first one to drop for the Phoenix. Number 5, Anthony DeRusso checking in now for the Phoenix. Coming in for number 2, Olamide Banjo. Also checking in for the Blue Jays, number 10, Wyatt Hockenberry checking in for Liam Thompson. Hockenberry, another one of those freshmen that played some important minutes for the Blue Jays in the first half.
He was tied for E-Town's leading scorer in that first half.
You know,
was he? Yeah, he had 7.
Yeah, and that just speaks to those freshmen for the Blue Jays. Here's that full court press again for the Phoenix. See if they can break this again.
And one thing I've noticed from Moffitt, he's been a floor general, even though he's been a big guy.
That is a careless pass there by Moffitt. That's going to be another foul. Thomas going to the free throw line again.
Good play by Hockenberry, though, to realize that if he isn't fouled, that's an easy layup.
It's going to be a timeout by the Blue Jays. You know, it looked like Moffitt was expecting his teammate to step to the ball there. Instead, his teammate let the ball come to him, and Rashawn Bean for the Phoenix got an easy steal there.
And that's one big fundamental that you learn from an early age. Always go to the ball, don't wait for the ball to come to you.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like E-Town is still just a little discombobulated on the offensive end there. You know, they play some great defensive possessions down here, and then they go to push it up the court and just some careless passes. But kudos again to Wilson Phoenix coach calling that full court press out.
And he recognized that with those freshmen on the court that they could take advantage of that, which is exactly what they did when they first did it in the first half. And I was hoping that E-Town would use that nice run they had there at the end to come out in this half and build off it, but they have not capitalized on that. And all these fouls, Wilson through the first half shot 71.4% from the line. So those fouls that they're taking, that's not going to help E-Town because they've been making the majority of those shots.
You're not wrong, and one thing I've been really, really impressed with is the discipline for Wilson. You know, in that full court press, they know where they're supposed to be. They know the zone that they're supposed to be in. They know the man they're looking for, and they get E-Town within 3 seconds of needing to get across half court, and that's what happens is you get them down to short time needing to get across, and they panic and they make a bad pass just trying to make it across.
And they have done exactly what we thought that they would do. They've used their speed and athleticism to jump on E-Town and get those fast break points.
You are exactly right. And Thomas gets the first one to drop there. This is his second trip in as many minutes as, you know, to the free throw line. Gets the second one to drop as well. Yeah, they're right back into that full court press.
And that's smart by Wilson to do that because, it's worked the majority of the time, I feel like. from as far as points off turnovers go, Wilson had 19 points off turnovers to E-Town 7. It's a nice play there by Hockenberry. Gets the offensive rebound.
And he gets the offensive rebound. Oh, unfortunately.
Oh, what's it? We got a sportsman? What
No, that's going to be a delay of game foul. Wyatt Hockenberry, you know, instead of letting that rebound just fall, he slapped it against the back wall. You know, you're not supposed to touch it after you make it, so.
It's a good call. And the rest have been great, too. There's been no questionable calls, no bad calls. They've been on top of things.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent. Checking out of the game, Nannon and Robinson for the Blue Jays. Checking back in is Du Bois and Bryce Green. See, you know, Wyatt Hockenberry, man, as a freshman, he's been providing some really important key minutes and plays here for the Blue Jays in the first half.
Outstanding offense and defense.
Check in to the post there. Pump fake by Delaney, kick out to the perimeter. Back to Delaney, three-pointer for Delaney is off the mark. Blue Jays did not crash the boards.
Again, no one on the boards, exactly right. No one gets a body on him, and he puts it up for an easy layup.
That's Anthony DeRusso with an easy layup for the Phoenix. Kick to the corner.
It's a good look up court. It's bounced out. Tough bounce.
Can't get it to fall. Christian Evans with the rebound.
But neither team has shot exceptionally well from three-point range. As Hogmer with the steal, Du Bois with the little Euro. That's enough. No foul call there. It's questionable.
And there's the foul call. That was a wonderful hustle play by Wyatt Hockenberry for the Blue Jays to save that ball before it went out of bounds. Pass between his legs to Bryce Green, and then Bryce Green gets fouled on the offensive end.
It just got real physical the last 7 seconds there.
I know. That was an impressive save by the freshman there. Checking in now once again, number 13 for the Blue Jays, freshman Drew Riley. Let's see if he can provide some, you know, a little bit of a boost on the defensive end for the Blue Jays.
Those blocks. I'm surprised that there was no call on that Du Bois Euro step. He seemed to get hit pretty hard there.
Yeah, he did. And they check the ball in. That's going to go to the Blue Jays. Great defensive inbound.
Yeah, nobody was really open there. That's the best thing they could have got off of that.
I know. That was a wonderful defense there by the Wilson College. See if the Blue Jays can get this ball in a little easier here. And there it is. All right, Du Bois has the ball. Top of the key. Looking inside for Drew Riley in the post. Seeing if they can get that third foul on Rashawn Bean.
And Riley's got size. Obviously, he's got at least 4 inches on him. So,
and
turnover.
Unfortunately, Hockenberry stepped out of bounds, that back foot, as he went to plant the take off down the baseline. Turnover to the Wilson College Phoenix. Into the game for the Phoenix, number 44, Kyle Hoffman. He brings it up the floor now for the Phoenix. Over to Thomas, back over to Hoffman.
Eaton's back in that 2-3, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
No, they are in that 2-3. They're in that 2-3. Over to DeRusso and kick to Evans in the corner. Evans drives into the paint, out to Hoffman. Hoffman's shot. That looked like it was tipped by Drew Riley. Tough fight for Bean on the offensive glass. He gets the foul called. Number 15, that's his 4th.
We as an E-Town be a taller team, but I think Wilson's been much more physical than we have down low especially.
Yeah, they have that I want the ball mentality more than it seems our guys do. They're going to have to figure something out here. Morton's going to end up checking out here with his 4th foul.
This is, what, the 3rd set of foul shots that they've had this half already?
Yeah, in not that much time. Connor Moffitt checking back in here for the Blue Jays for Avery Morton. That's his 4th foul. That's a killer there for the Blue Jays because he was providing some good offensive minutes here.
I'm not sure he'll check back in until it's just about over if they need him.
And Rashawn Bean knocks both of those down for the Blue Jays. Score so far is 50-40 in favor of the Phoenix.
It's the first double-digit lead of the game for either team.
Double team there, trap. Bryce Green wisely flips it back out to the top.
By Green.
Yeah, it was because he was going to be in trouble. Kick to the corner, good pass by the boys. Green takes it into the paint. Good offensive board and score by Connor Moffitt.
Moffitt has been all over those offensive boards today.
That's that senior leadership. That's that experience. He just knows where to be at the right time. Christian Evans picks up his dribble. Out to Rashawn Bean in the corner. That ball was off the mark, and that's going to be a foul going in favor for the Blue Jays. Foul on number 5 for the Wilson College Phoenix. That's DeRusso's 1st.
Over the back, it looked like.
Wilson foul number 5, DeRusso. His 1st, team's 2nd.
We're bad. There's 6 fouls already in the second half.
I know, we're only 7 minutes in. This is not the start to the second half that the Blue Jays wanted to see.
And Riley still has that mismatch down low. They got to feed
Yeah, he does.
him.
They need to find that. Moffitt needs to clear out of the paint. They need to see the ball. That is going out. That is just a careless play by Du Bois. You know, driving into no space.
Yeah, no lane there at all.
No, and that's something he can't force that. He needs to pull that back out and find an open man, get some movement with the ball instead of driving into an area with no space. But either way, now Wilson College brings it back up the floor here. Hoffman at the top of the key over to Evans.
One thing I noticed about E-Town, they have Riley at the top of the key here for that 2-3.
Oh,
using that length
that's Wyatt Hockenberry, but yeah, they're using him as well.
Excuse me.
That's a three-pointer made for Wilson College. They're going on a nice little run here offensively. Riley sets the screen at the top, trying to get that switch back over to Moffitt. Moffitt for 3, and that is good, answering right back.
Always good to have a big man that can shoot the 3. That's what it is. That's what the game is nowadays. Big man that can shoot.
You're not wrong. Let's see if E-Town can get a stop here on the defensive end. Get some, get on a little run here. Switch it over to Evans. Evans kicks it to Thomas. Looks like they might be looking for Bean down in the paint. Kicks over to Evans. Evans with a nice little pump fake. Green with some good defense.
Very good D by Green. Look at his hand straight up.
And one. That is going to be a foul.
Tough play.
Number 13, Drew Riley from the Blue Jays, gets called for his second foul. Christian Evans is going to go to the line for the Phoenix for an and one opportunity.
One more thing I've noticed about Wilson, when they make a play like that, or they know that they've trapped someone, or they do a good defensive play, they have that swagger about them that they puff out their chest and kind of flaunt it a little bit to get it in each heads.
They have the confidence rolling right now.
Almost
that is going to the Blue Jays.
And that shouldn't happen. There's no way that Thomas should get near that offensive board when we have the size that we do.
You're exactly right. Let's see if E-Town can use this break here real quick. And they can get some points here and slow down the Phoenix. I think the name of the game so far is the Phoenix on the offensive end, because we're getting the looks that we want on the defensive on the offensive end. And there's a good break for the Blue Jays. Connor Moffitt gets fouled.
And back of the offensive board, and he draws the foul.
Number 4, Jeremiah Carter-Johnson gets called for the foul. That's his third. Connor Moffitt goes to the line for 2.
I don't see a sub. Are they going to keep him in there with 3 fouls?
And Moffitt knocks down the first one. Yeah, I think they're going to. I think since he's a sub, they're not really worried about him being in foul trouble as much. He's got 3, but they're probably going to give their big a rest and then get their other one back in the game here pretty fast.
But he's in a presence down low with that body.
And that free throw is not going to count. E-Town entered the lane too soon. Wyatt Hockenberry checking out of the game. Liam Thompson coming in, checking back in.
That's a tough break for E-Town to step over that line.
Yeah, it really – it's got to be so frustrating as a coach to just see the little small mental errors that his team's making.
There's been a lot of them today from E-Town.
There really has been. Just little stuff like that, like not entering the lane too early.
And the miscues on passes.
Yeah.
Driving where there's no space.
Exactly. That's a good pop and stop, but why?
That's not a good take for.
It's not a good offensive possession. Nobody was down in the paint. Thomas gets a wide open look, and he drains the 3. E-Town looks so discombobulated right now.
As we're talking about the mistakes, they just keep on piling up.
I know, they're not checking their man on defense. I think Coach Moore's going to need to call a timeout here soon and get the Blue Jays back on track. Just that pass.
And then Nannon, it puts his head down, doesn't get back with the slam. That's number 5, Anthony DeRusso. And that right there, Nannon is like whose fault is that? Was it me? Get back on D. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. You got to get back.
Exactly.
And if you're Green or Du Bois or Moffitt, as a senior, you're saying, hey, head up, next play, keep going. Don't put your head down.
Exactly. And that's so frustrating because we just talked about the mental errors and trying to cut back on the mental errors, and then you go and you have an offensive and a defensive stretch like that where they don't check their man out here, and Thomas for the for the Phoenix makes that wide open three-pointer, and then a careless pass made by the Blue Jays on the offensive end, and then right away, just instead of hustling back on defense, you just hang your head and you put it down. And that's got to be so frustrating as a coach to see. Instead of your guy making the effort on offense, on the defensive end to get back and maybe get a chase down block, he just hangs his head and sulks instead.
And this game is getting out of hand. It's 60-46 in favor of Wilson. So Eaton's got to capitalize soon and start this comeback.
And, if I was Coach Moore in that huddle right there, I'd be looking at my seniors and I'd be challenging them and I'd be saying, hey, we really need to step it up here and we need to, show some leadership and really try and at least get ourselves somewhat back into this game. It's a 14-point lead for the Wilson College Phoenix with 10 minutes left to go. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. Let's get our heads on our shoulders and really, figure this out.
Right, and starting 5 back in, so let's see if they start that run right now. And there's Moffitt again, and like I said, for a big guy, being the floor general, having the ball, and set up the offense.
Yeah, I think that's something that Coach Moore is really, really going to look for this year is for the seniors to lead, and that is going to be a charge. Another careless take by Du Bois on the offensive end. When you see that big man defender in front of you, you cannot just drive straight into him because he's just going to take that charge and fall.
You're right, and to give Du Bois credit, he did see on the wing there that Thompson was wide open, but this pass was a little bit too late.
Yeah, let's see if on the defensive end the Blue Jays can step it up here. Kick back out to Carter Johnson, over to Hoffman, over to Thomas. Thomas has been providing some good offense for them here in the second half. Blue Jays are playing some good defense here. They've got Wilson down to 10 seconds in the shot clock. Carter Johnson has the ball, pulls up, and that is the shot. That is the shot. Yes, sir, and that is the shot that you want Wilson to have to take. Force their big man to have to take a shot from at least 17 feet out. That is very, very important. That was great defense for the Blue Jays. See if they can build off of that. Wyatt Hockenberry for the Blue Jays checks back in for Thompson.
Something going on. The refs are at the scores table. Something happened.
Looks like they might have been putting some time back on the clock or sorting out a foul discrepancy. Du Bois comes up the floor. Checks into the paint. Moffitt up strong, gets the board back, and he makes the layup.
Once again on the offensive boards, Connor Moffitt.
And that is the senior leadership that Coach Moore is looking for. Let's see if the other seniors around him can step up.
And you would think that play would show them what they need to do. They get that mismatch down low and use their size.
Exactly. DeRusso has it, kicks it out, over to Thomas. Driving baseline, kicks out to DeRusso for 3.
That was a good play by Wilson, just couldn't fall. Where are the bodies? Why is no one on Eton boxing out going for those boards? Du Bois is the only one who goes for those boards.
Du Bois looks inside to Moffitt again. Moffitt makes an easy layup.
Maybe they're going to figure it out.
They need to get a stop down here on defense. They need to start boxing out, get some bodies in the paint.
Still a double-digit lead, 50-62 Wilson.
Kicks out to Carter Johnson. Carter Johnson to DeRusso. DeRusso to Hoffman. Hoffman drives the baseline behind the back. And we had an opportunity for a steal right there, and it goes right between his legs. That's going to be a double dribble going in favor for the Blue Jays. That's another break for them. See if they can use this opportunity to get some points on the offensive end.
And Hoffman, who's a junior, that's a careless mistake by him.
Avery Morton checking back in
with those 4 fouls.
See how aggressive he ends up being on the offensive and the defensive end.
He needs to be straight up every play on defense. It's a good look by Du Bois.
And nice that is a three-pointer.
Number 10, Wyatt Hockenberry.
Oh, I thought they were calling a timeout here, but they were just calling to fix the net.
It's a nice shot by Hockenberry on that last play.
Christian Evans going to be bringing the ball up here for the Phoenix in this possession. Hockenberry playing defense on him. Tries to get that switch, and that is going to be a foul on Hockenberry.
I would say that's a questionable call. He wasn't very physical with him. He kind of just getting his arm out to play defense, but I wouldn't call that. Gotta let him play a little bit here, ref.
Yeah, let the boys play, ref. Let the boys play.
They're in the bonus already. That's
that has to be so frustrating.
And with 8:22 left in this half, is a lot of time to get to play some basketball.
And he missed it short. Hockenberry with the rebound. Morton kicks it out to Morton, and then DuBois.
A little bit of a trap here in the half court. They better get it up there. There it is.
10-second call.
That's twice now. It's that Wilson defense once again that we were talking about all game long. Let's see if E-Town can get it back here.
Inbounds to Christian Evans. Kicks out to Delaney in the corner for three. That is off the mark. Hockenberry with another defensive rebound.
And Wilson does that drive and dish a lot. I would be watching for that if you're E-Town.
That ball goes out of bounds to the Blue Jays.
E-Town at some point need to capitalize here because there's not a whole lot of time left, and they got to just find something, get a spark from somewhere, offense or defense.
DuBois brings the ball up, kicks it to Green in the corner. Green pulls it out, puts it down to Zach Nannon in the post. Bryce Green for three, and he knocks it down.
Nice shot by Green.
And here come the Blue Jays on a little bit of a run. They've taken that 14-point lead, and they've cut it down to 6 here in the second half. Christian Evans bringing the ball up. Look for the Blue Jays to get a stop on defense.
I think Wilson slowed their play down a little bit here since they have this lead, and they've kept it this whole half.
Being on the offensive glass. That is good defense by the Blue Jays, Zach Nannon. And he gets fouled by number 11. Here come the Blue Jays.
But as that spark I was talking about, they finally got it. They got the momentum, and they got to roll with it. Connor Moffitt is checked in for number 10 for the Blue Jays, Wyatt Hockenberry.
Wilson Foul, number 11, Jeremiah Delaney. His fourth, team's fifth.
Still led Morton out there with those 4 fouls.
I know, that's a risky play, but hey, it's working. He's bringing a spark for the Blue Jays. DuBois bringing it up the court now. That is going to be a careless play by DuBois.
And DuBois has had a lot of those this game. And for a senior, he's making a lot of those careless turnovers.
You know, E-Town's looking around at the refs trying to get, a tip call, but it's a backcourt violation. Refs need to get it together here real quick.
What's the issue here?
Timeout for the Phoenix. Looks like there's some confusion on the inbounds play there.
Miscue from Wilson there.
One thing I will say in this last 5-minute stretch, the Blue Jays have really been picking it up. I think Coach Moore may have challenged him there, and that once Wilson went up by 14 at that one point at the 13-minute mark, Coach Moore challenged him in that huddle and said, look, what are we going to do? We need to get it together. And, I really think that the Blue Jays answered that call, answered that challenge.
Mm-hmm. And they've been playing that physical defense that Wilson's been playing on them. So with that, they should be getting the ball more often, and hopefully they can convert on those forced turnovers.
I agree. Yeah, let's see if E-Town can get a stop here on defense and then get a good offensive possession on the other end.
Moffitt's clapping, trying to get his team fired up down there.
Thomas going to inbound the ball here for Wilson. Christian Evans has it at the top of the key. Over to DeRusso, over to Thomas. Over to Bean. Bean drives the lane.
Looked like it was blocked by Moffitt.
And that was a foul. Bean gets fouled by number 0 for the Blue Jays. Ethan DuBois, that's going to be his 3rd foul.
Robinson looks to be checking here. I assume that
after the first free throw, yeah, you would have to think. And Bean makes the first one.
And this is where some of the freshmen might try and step up. You know, your team's down. There's still some time, but not a whole lot. So what can you do to make a difference on either end of the court? Let's see what Robinson has here.
And Bean makes the second.
Back to that press. Let's see if they can
Back
break
to,
it.
Yeah, exactly. And it always seems to happen whenever they check in. Oh, that was an easy press break there.
Oof.
And that was a great.
Good way to avoid that charge.
Exactly.
There.
It was a wonderful way to adjust his body to that to avoid the contact there. The defender was straight up and down. Morton just like an acrobat in the air moves his body around.
It was a very nice play.
Three-pointer by Bean at the top of the key, and he makes it. Good defense by Moffitt, but there's their all-conference senior forward making a big play when they needed it.
And he wasn't much of a factor in the first half, which we were both surprised about.
Yeah, he was basically a non-factor. I think he played less than 2 minutes in that first half. Moffitt with it in the post. Robinson takes a three, and that is good. Answers. Jailer, how about the freshman for the Blue Jays
Gotta love a good back and forth.
Freshman for the Blue Jays stepping up big in this second half. This entire game, to be honest. Christian Evans with the ball, kicks it to Bean. Bean, senior on the top of the key. Over to DeRusso. Blue Jays got the Phoenix down to short time in the shot clock. Kicks it into the corner for a three-pointer, and there's the rebound by Robinson. Pushing it up the floor fast for the Blue Jays.
Look.
Oh, he was looking for some contact, and he took the ball straight up and missed it. And there looks to be a double-team trap by E-Town. Oh, and that is going to be a player control foul called against the Wilson College Phoenix. Number 3, Christian Evans first foul.
Robinson has checked in and immediately made an impact for the Blue Jays here.
You know, and that's been that's been constant for the Blue Jays today in today's game. You know, the freshman coming into the game and making an impact. You know, I can't talk enough about how good this freshman class has been playing, especially in this first half. They've been some big impact roles in this first half. Over to Morton. Morton checks back up the top to Moffitt. Moffitt to Robinson at the top of the key. There was another one of those fouls that we're talking about, but a big break for the Blue Jays right there.
I think Green was bailed out there. That could have very well been a steal.
And that's going to be a foul on number 15, Rashawn Bean. That's going to be his third as well.
Both teams now in the bonus. That's good for E-Town.
Oh, and E-Town, Bryce Green gets a one-on-one here. See if he can knock both of these down here to get the Blue Jays pulled back in within 4. Makes the first one. Good on the first.
About 5 minutes left here in the second half. So I'm looking for both teams to maybe speed it up a little bit. Well, especially E-Town. I think Wilson actually might slow it down and try and keep that lead. But E-Town's going to try and speed up to get as many points as quickly as they can.
Right, and we'll see how that works. You know, if they do decide to slow it down, that could end up – oh, look at the Blue Jays pulling up a little three-quarter court press here on the defensive end. Christian Evans bringing up the ball.
Good D by Robinson, staying down. Green tried to get it.
Let's see if he can rotate back over. It's a three-pointer by Bean. There's Zach Nannon on the defensive
Finally
board.
Some big men crashing the board.
See, E-Town gets a stop here on the defensive end. Let's see if they can get some points here on the offensive end. Bryce Green open for 3.
There
and he hits it. Bryce Green with the 3. There's the senior leadership we're talking about.
That's what you're looking for out of Bryce Green, those big three-point plays here. And E-Town looks fired up.
And there are the seniors answering the call of Coach Moore in this second half. He challenged them. You know, Coach Schwalm at halftime, I spoke with him, and he said they challenged their seniors to really step up big in this second half. And right away, Connor Moffitt on the offensive and defensive boards and on the offensive end came in for a couple minute stretch there and provided some good points. And now Bryce Green stepping up, knocking down a 3, bringing the Blue Jays within 1.
It should be an interesting end to this game. I'm excited to see it.
I agree. Under 5 minutes, 1-point game. I'm interested to see how the Wilson College coach challenges his players here on the floor. You know, it looked like they were about to run away with it there, but E-Town came back, took a 14-point lead down to 1.
If I'm Wilson, I'm tell them to play, that they've been playing tough all game on the defensive end, play tougher and capitalize more on the offensive end. Some shots that they've been taking have not been exactly the best, and they just haven't capitalized on the open ones that they do get. So with that that tough defense, you got to capitalize on the other end.
You're very right. You're very right. And look at the score. It's 67-66. The score at one point in time was 60-46. So we ended up coming back. They've scored 6 points since that 13-minute mark, and we've come back and we've scored 21 points since that first. So I think the Blue Jays, if they continue this streak of pressing, they're going to have some success in the last 5 minutes here.
Robinson right up on his man there.
How about this freshman Robinson transferring in from Alvernia, providing some serious. They check into Olajay here, and
nothing, no call there on that. That would have been a travel.
Man, it looked like there was a no call there. Should have been a jump ball up and down by the Cardinals, but instead they get a Bean makes a
all up in arms for that one.
Instead, Bean makes a shot in the paint there and takes the lead back to 3. There's going to be another foul on Bean. That's his 4th. It's going to be Bean's 4th foul.
Morton gets that one-on-one. This good. Oh, they did score. Never mind.
Hopefully Morton can step up to the paint here, knock down both of these free throws, cut the lead back into 1 again. First one's good for Morton. You know, I know we've said it over and over again, but how about these freshmen for the Blue Jays? You know, adding to the second half run by the seniors, but these freshmen for the Blue Jays have they have answered the call. Christian Evans bringing the ball back up the floor here, directing his guys. Bean over in the corner for the Phoenix. Outside to Carter Johnson. Carter Johnson kicks it over to Alameda. And there's Connor Moffitt stepping up
by Moffitt
with the steal, and he takes it coast to coast to tie the game for the Blue Jays.
Connor Moffitt has been one of the X factors for E-Town this entire game on both ends.
On both ends of the court. Senior on senior here. Bean guarding Moffitt. Moffitt comes up with the big block, but they call a foul on Connor Moffitt.
And there's Bean again, like all game, using his body to get into Moffitt and go back up there and draw that foul.
That's Moffitt's second. He's been able to stay out of some foul trouble here. Ethan Du Bois getting ready to check in to the game for the Blue Jays.
I would assume
I think they called that foul on Jalen Robinson.
Oh. Indeed they did.
Bean knocks down that first one. And
with
Jeremiah Delaney checking back in for the Phoenix, and Ethan Du Bois for the Blue Jays.
With 3:22 left in the game, I would look for both teams to have their starting lineups in at some point, because it's going to be a hard fight to the end.
And he knocks down both. And here's that full court press again, trying to waste some time for the Blue Jays.
It's a smart move by Wilson. That should be a foul there. That was number 3. Evans was all over Moffitt. Good move by Nannon.
And Moffitt at the top of the paint.
No good.
Morton good with an offensive rebound. And one.
No.
Oh, and the rebound doesn't go. How about the offensive rebounding for the Blue Jays here down the stretch?
Play by Morton.
He just went up and over everybody. He got the ball at the highest point above the defender.
Had a chance here to tie the game up, make both of these.
Morton goes to the line for 2. Let's see how the freshman can do.
And if I'm Wilson, I'm doing that press every single time.
Oh, yeah, and because they almost got the steal even there. First free throw made. Jalen Robinson checks back in for the boys.
I assume they're going to do they'll have Robinson in on defense and Du Bois in on offense. I'd imagine that's what they're going to do. They'll flip-flop one another.
And Morton ties the game up for the Blue Jays. Ladies and gentlemen, with 3 minutes left, we have a tie ball game.
I'm super excited to see how this ends.
Christian Evans at the top of the key. Gives it to Bean. Bean over to Thomas. Over to Christian Evans. Over to Delaney.
And
Morton guarding Delaney.
In this defense, they're not getting up on Wilson. They're kind of getting him some space.
And there's a foul call on Bryce Green.
That's his second only, so that's
second
good.
one.
Blue Jays foul number 5, Bryce Green. His second.
And here comes Du Bois back in.
Wilson shoots 2.
At the line, Olamide Banjo for the Phoenix, and he makes the first one.
It's quite the name, isn't it? Olamide Banjo.
Yes, it is, and I'm sure that he is loving it. All right. He's had a pretty impressive day today for the Phoenix as well, getting inside the paint, making some big shots.
Those 2 free throws were huge. There's that press.
There's the press again we talked about, into Du Bois. Du Bois driving the baseline. That is out of bounds, going to the Blue Jays.
You know, Morgan's played the majority of this little second half run here that E-Town's been on. It's been surprising that Thompson got checked back in.
Into Green. Green over to Moffitt. Moffitt over to Morton.
It's a good break.
They get across half court, looking to double team here. He gets out of the double team, and there's a tie-up. Jump ball going to the Phoenix. With 2 minutes and I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was I was just gonna say that's a good read by Wilson to double team there, trap him up
right
as soon as they crossed half court.
Over to Thomas. Thomas being guarded by Nannon. Over to Olamide Banjo. He tries to put it up in a big block from Moffitt. Green down with the rebound. Over to Moffitt. Moffitt coming up the court. Out to Morton. Morton for 3, and he knocks it down. And there's the first lead of the day for the Blue Jays.
And these Blue Jay fans are hyped up right now. Big shot by Morton.
He's been making those big shots all day today, too. Over to Thomas. Thomas pump fake out to Christian Evans. Christian Evans taking it inside.
That's
and
a good
he splits the defense for the 2-point play.
Oh, they stopped the press.
Stop the press, dropping in. Under 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a 1-point game here. Bryce Green's got the ball at the top of the key. Kicks it out to Du Bois. Du Bois drives in the paint. Feed to Nannon, and that is why they have Du Bois in on the offensive end. He is the floor general, and he finds Zach Nannon for the 2-point play.
And that's a good connection play between Du Bois and Nannon.
E-Town needs one stop on defense here with a 1-point lead to make sure that they can take this win. Straight up, and he makes the tough bucket.
That was a real
timeout by Wilson.
Well, E-Town played good there. Du Bois and Nannon, they went straight up. They set their feet. They didn't go into the driver. That's what you got to do at this point in the game when everyone's in foul trouble and you're in the bonus.
You know, I cannot say enough about how our team has answered the call from Coach Moore at that timeout to bring it back within 1 point and to even have a lead at 1 point after a 14-point deficit. They are playing very well. We need to get a stop on the defensive end. We need to come down here, draw up a good play on offense, get a score, and then get one stop on the defensive end.
And
it seems like we always get within reach of having that lead, and then Wilson just answers right back. It has been a very good back-and-forth battle today.
And this is where the age of E-Town will show. You know, these seniors, I'm sure, have been in this position countless of times, but the freshmen honestly have not. So how are the seniors going to step up on both ends and make those big plays? And then if Coach Moore does play the freshmen, how are they going to react to this type of setting? Morton's still in. He's been answering the call though. Like he's been less physical, but he's been making up for it on the offensive end with that big shot he had with that three-pointer.
And I think the fact that he is still in the game down the stretch here shows the trust that Coach Moore has in him to be able to stay in the game. Ball into Du Bois. They back off on the press for now. Du Bois across half court.
If E-Town gets the lead next time
under 1 minute here.
I would look for that press.
Oh, Moffitt inside, and there is the bucket. We are under a minute now, ladies and gentlemen. E-Town needs to get one stop here on the defensive end and then push the ball.
And if you're E-Town, if you still have the lead after possession, use that shot clock. Waste as much time as you can.
Checked into Delaney. Delaney kicks it out to Alameda. And there's the steal that the Blue Jays were looking for.
That was a nice
Connor
drive by
Moffitt driving up here. Oh, and he crosses over. He's across half court. And there is the foul. Under 30 seconds, Blue Jays up one.
These are
Connor
some
Moffitt
big
gets
shots
the big
from Connor
steal.
Moffitt.
The foul goes on Alameda Banjo. That's his third. But
E-Town did well on defense of making Wilson flustered and throw that turnover.
Yes, sir. And now they are in the double bonus, so E-Town gets 2 shots here. Let's see if they can expand the lead.
And Liam Thompson has checked in to the second half. He hasn't played much this second half. Let's see what Coach Moore has in mind for him here.
And Moffitt knocks down the first.
Big shot by Moffitt.
Giving them at least a 2-point lead. Let's see if he can knock down this third and force them to have to make a 3 to tie this game up.
If he makes this shot, that's huge for E-Town.
Cannot say enough about how Connor Moffitt has played in this second half.
Absolutely.
And there's the scene.
No good. Oh, no.
That is going out of bounds to the Blue
ball.
Jays.
And Nannon is hyped up.
It looked like there was a foul there on Wilson on that rebound, but Nannon and the rebounder got tied up, and it ended up going off of the hand from the Wilson College player and out of bounds.
It's a big play by E-Town, and again, I'm sure Coach Moore has some sort of set where you use as much of that shot clock as you can. 26.4 here left with a 20-second shot clock. That's plenty of time to waste.
Man, how about Connor Moffitt and these seniors in this second half stepping up?
Absolutely. Here's my question for you. Let's say Wilson gets a steal or E-Town throws up an early shot. Do you go for a 2 to tie or a 3 to win?
You know, I think that's going to come down to the coach's preference, or it depends if he lets his offense go and see what they can do. I think the smart thing to do would be take the high percentage shot, take it into the paint, try and draw a foul or make that bucket. Or if you have the wide open shot and he says, he draws up a play for them to get a 3-point basket and they can take the lead.
Right.
I think it's really going to come down to whatever they decide to do.
And we've been talking all game about these careless mistakes from E-Town. This is critical here to see if they can tidy things up and play smart basketball here.
Right. Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what Wilson College decides to do, if they decide to let them play it out or if they foul. Because there's 20 seconds on the clock. Shot and game clock are separated by 6 seconds. So they could let them play it out, and they could have 6 seconds to drive down the court.
And look at this. Freshman Robinson has checked in for Du Bois.
Yeah, they have 2 freshmen on the court right now, Avery Morton and Jalen Robinson here for this inbounds play.
It's tough defense by
Get
Wilson.
it in. Timeout called by Zach Nannon. Way to recognize that.
Smart play by Nannon and even better defense there by Wilson.
Yes, it was. Let's see what Coach Moore draws up for this next inbounds play. It really is going to come down. I think this inbounds is so important. So important. Blue Jays are out of timeouts now. That is another big factor we need to remember. So if they can't get this ball in, they might have to force it in and hope for the best on this inbounds play. They can't call any more timeouts, so they really have to be disciplined and structured in these last 26 seconds to make sure that they can get the ball in play and that they focus on what they can control, and that is getting the ball in, getting a good quality offensive shot here, and then getting back and playing defense regardless of what the outcome of that shot is.
Right, and once again, that goes back to the senior leaders on this team of they've been here before, they know what to do, so get it done and bring this W home.
And, I think that's also one of the big advantages for E-Town in this moment is their seniors are on the floor for this. And they're an older, more experienced team. You see, they dropped Morton back here pass, and he's an outlet. So basically, he's here just in case they can't get it across. But they're also creating some more space here for their inbounders. Drew up a Drew up a good play here. That is going to be a foul on number 15. Number 15 is going to foul out of the game if that is on him. Nope, they call it on number 11, not number 15. So that is going on Jeremiah Delaney. Jalen Robinson, how about this? Going to the line for 2 shots to ice it for the Blue Jays.
And these are a big shot. If he hits both these, that's a 2-possession game. Real hard to come back with 2 possessions with 24.3 seconds left in this game.
And not to mention that, he also, being a freshman in this moment, I can guarantee you he's gone to bed at night dreaming of moments like this to win the game for his team.
Absolutely.
And he misses the first one. Still a 2-point game, 24 seconds on the clock. He can make this one and force Wilson to tie it with a 3.
And that's a huge shot right here because obviously a 2-point or a 3-point lead much safer than
Imagine
a
the
2-point lead.
adrenaline that is going through his veins right now. And
he
makes
gets
the
it.
second one.
Clutch shot by Robinson.
Make sure E-Town does not foul on this 3-point opportunity.
It's a hard screen there on Robinson.
Bean jacks up a shot. That is off the mark. Morton with the rebound. And he kicks it out.
Wilson's got
10.
a foul. There it is.
With 10 seconds, the Blue Jays are up 3.
I'm not sure
Moffitt going to the line.
I'm not sure how I feel about that shot from Rashawn Bean. They had plenty of time to get a much better look. Fade away 1-foot 3-pointer when you're double
With 3
covered.
men on him, too.
Yeah, that's not a smart shot.
That was not a smart shot by the senior for the Phoenix. But you know what? I'm sure the coach gave him the green light and had some trust in him, and just unfortunate it didn't fall for him. Moffitt knocks down the first. That makes it a 4-point game.
And that could seal the deal for E-Town.
I was going to say, that shot right there could be the difference maker. See if he decides to miss this or make this shot. I say he makes it and just seals the game. Yep.
Good call.
He makes it, seals the game.
At this point, it would take some divine intervention for Wilson to come back. You're down 5 with 10.6. That's tough.
But how about the seniors and these freshmen for the Blue Jays? They look like they have been playing together for a lot longer than just one game
Absolutely.
today.
And we said that the big thing would be, can the seniors and freshmen mold together to make this team a whole? And I think they have.
And look, down this stretch, you and me talked about it at the beginning of the game. These seniors, they needed to bring these young freshmen together, mold them together, get them into a place where they can grow as a team and build as a team. And they've done that. Down their stretch, the seniors are meshing with the freshmen on the court. They are making plays. They are doing what they need to do to seal this game.
And there's been big plays from both seniors and the freshmen. Morton and Green hitting big shots. Moffitt on the boards, and Robinson with the tough defense and just having the poise to go out here and perform as a freshman. It's been great for both seniors and freshmen today for E-Town.
You know, it's really amazing to see growth on the court. I think that's what you're seeing. When they were down 14, you know, some body language from the Blue Jays, some hanging of heads. But look now, they have a 5-point lead in this game. They've come back, and they have all but won this game for themselves, and they never considered themselves out of this game.
This is a statement for E-Town. You know, like other teams, I'm sure will see this and say E-Town are not quitters. They will come back and fight to the end.
And look at this, number 1 from Wilson just stepped out of bounds, giving the ball back to Elizabethtown on this inbound shot. 6.8 seconds left. You know, you got to wonder why they're still pressing here. The game's all but won for the Blue Jays. You know, I guess you could get a steal here on the inbound, but you know, look for this to be, you know, just a clean inbounds, and there it is, a clean inbounds, dribbling out the clock. 3, 2, 1, and there's the game, ladies and gentlemen. How about this comeback win for the Blue Jays?
It's a great performance on all sides for E-Town.
Down 14 with 13 minutes left in the second half. The Blue Jays come back to win it by a final score of 82-77.
And they will start this season on the right foot, being 1-0.
And you know what? I think they learned a lot about themselves today. Being down like that and having those seniors to have to step up and get the freshmen together and get their guys together so that they could come back with the win. I think that just speaks to the character and the tenacity and the toughness of this team. You know, congratulations on the win, guys. That must feel great for those seniors and for those freshmen that made an impact to get the first win of their careers.
Absolutely.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for today's men's basketball matchup between Wilson College and the Elizabethtown Blue Jays. Stay tuned with us. We're going to have your Elizabethtown women's basketball match coming up right after this against Marywood University. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back with you shortly.